oh boy, we have reached the end of Southern Charm, and what a finale it was. It was pretty much, if you took all of the stereotypes from this season, all the things that we were hyper focused on, and inflated them by about 2,000. Bam.
Yeah, I actually think that this was the perfect ending to a very strange but very entertaining season.
As there's a drive in a deep left field by Castellanos, it will be
Oh
a
man,
home
it's
run.
8 o'clock.
And so that'll make it a...
I don't need the spotlight. I shine just fine.
Hi, I'm Karma, and yes, I am a bitch.
Brav Bros.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Brav Bros, your favorite podcast from the bros for everybody, for whoever wants to listen. I'm your co-host, Steele Russell, joined as always by the one and only Charleston Magoots. What's up, dude?
You can use that for 2 shows now. We can do this back to back if you want to do it.
Yeah,
What a good, funny, weird, strange, action-packed. I don't know how you want to explain.
Dare I say hyperbolic?
Yeah, honestly, it was just a very interesting finale, and we're not used to this. Usually the finales, like, yeah, you'll get the storm at the end where people want to make a splash. This wasn't that. This was just like a weird culmination of, I think we're good after the Mexico trip, and then we're just not good. We're just clearly not that good. And then the icing on the cake is Watch What Happens Live, because every year they always have at least one Watch What Happens Live with all 3 of the boys. And they didn't even know if they were going to be able to do it this year. Andy said he was leaving it open-ended. That's why it was on the finale. I'm going to leave it open-ended because we don't know where anybody's going to be in their friendships. We don't know if we can get the 3 of you together in the same room. So we'll have to see how it goes. And lo and behold, they were goofing around and acting like friends. They have the strangest friendship, and it seems like they're finally starting to own it, but it's still so fun to watch.
Yeah, it's just this weird toxic relationship, this completely platonic toxic relationship in which they just beat the hell out of each other emotionally. Now, I thought Austen said a lot of very pertinent things at the end. I thought Austen overall had a solid season. I know all the Craig stands out there and be like, yeah, Austen's a piece of shit. He's immature, this and that. I've seen growth from the guy since I started watching this show. What, 3 years ago was our first time doing this? So I'm 3 years in. And I've seen growth from Austen. And obviously this friendship is disastrous in so many ways, but overall this was a solid cherry on top to a good but strange year, and I think that's what we got in the finale. It was a good but strange finale, so it kind of coincides well.
Yeah, it's almost like they tied the bow on a lot of things, which is why I think I'm having a really hard time processing it, because there's usually so many unanswered questions, and like I don't care.
Closure.
Like, we don't necessarily care season by season where Craig and Austen are going to be in their friendship, because you could answer that with 50 different answers. It doesn't really matter because it's going to change like within a couple of days. So I don't really care about that. The storylines that we had, I mean, Madison had her baby before the end of the season. Like, she had her baby. She brought her baby home. We had a really nice moment in the middle of this episode that tied a bow on her whole storyline. We get Charlie and Craig tie a bow on that. We've got Sally and Austen pretty much tying a bow on that. We've got Austen going through a breakup, tie a bow on that. Shep moving on and potentially dating somebody who's
Shep
his own
potentially
age.
growing up.
Shep potentially growing up. Like, it's look, everywhere you look, it seems like things, at least the most important things that should have been resolved have been resolved. So I think I'm having a really hard time processing that, because in this show in particular, things are always so open-ended, and I don't really care about the little things along the way.
No, and I think what happened post Mexico is after the sweat lodge, everyone finally rehydrated from that. And so they remembered, oh, wait, no, I'm still mad at you.
Yeah, they were just high.
Just high on lack of water and whatever was in that cacao concoction that they consumed before the healing circle.
It's sort of like running a marathon. Like, after the marathon, you've got whatever the ultimate runner's high is, and everything's just fun. And we see it in Philly all the time when they do the Philly marathon.
They're just chugging beers.
Yeah, you go to the bars afterwards, and these people are walking around with medals, and they've got their weird aluminum blankets, which don't make a ton of sense to me.
The space blankets?
Yeah, the space blankets. Yeah, they never really make a whole lot of sense, but they're really cool. And you see them just chugging beers and having the time of their life, and then they wake up the next day and they can't move their legs. I think that's what happens. Mexico, we got a little bit of the aftermath with that dinner where we start in this episode, where everyone's copacetic for the most part. Like, still, as we get into it, weird that no one's bringing it up to Craig, and then we have to kind of force the issue. But the rest of it's just kind of like, all right, the end of the trip, we're a little tired, but we had that moment yesterday. No, guys, you're just at the end of a trip where you drank balls to the wall and you're exhausted. And you
Oh,
want to
you're
go home.
immediately trying to discredit everything that happened the day
Absolutely.
before. That's silly,
Yeah,
but okay.
1,000%. 1,000%. I'm discrediting the Sweat Lodge.
I
Why are
don't
you
know
getting so
why
up in
you're
arms about the Sweat Lodge?
because you're
What's your
so
deal?
anti
invested?
this stuff with no wiggle room of like maybe that stuff is beneficial in some ways. You're just like, nope,
Yeah, I
spiritual
agree.
bullshit.
No, I agree that going to a sweat lodge is cool. I think it's fine to sweat out your toxins, do all of those things. Once you get into, which I think you referred to because my brother texted me and he's like, I don't know what the fuck Steele's talking about. When you've tried to relate people coming together in that way to like astrophysics in some way, I don't know what you were going on about last year or last episode. It didn't make a whole lot of sense. I
It
don't
makes
buy
plenty of
into any
sense
of
if
that
you have an open mind and you understand what I was trying to say. It doesn't surprise me that you and your brother,
stuff.
I don't really know your brother, so I don't know how he thinks, but
You got to grow
doesn't
up, Peter
surprise
Pan.
he's related to you. So
The
I'm
real world.
assuming that she's closed-minded as well when it comes to these types of things. So hey, I'm not surprised that you didn't understand when I was talking about entanglement and interconnectivity. That's very, very measurable by science. It's a tangible thing. So it's okay.
Sure. Yeah.
It is, but that's my point. You just say sure and giggle. That's not a rebuttal. So
I
we
don't
can
need to
move on
rebut
from
this.
this.
What are you going to tell me? That sound baths are beneficial now?
I don't know. Potentially.
You're
Potentially.
too open-minded. We need to
No, I'm
find a middle
not. I'm
ground.
just
We need to find a
I
middle ground.
would love to, but you're so anti that I can't find a middle ground with you. You're
Your mind
so
is a
far down that
large
path.
gaping hole, and mine is just like a little pipsqueak. You know, just
Yes.
a little guy.
Yes.
We need to
Correct.
find a middle ground.
I would love for you to open your mind a little bit more.
And now
I
we're
wait for the
announcing the
day.
third bro who's right in the middle.
Yeah.
That wouldn't even be fun.
This
I don't
is
think so.
Sven.
We'd probably kill him, to be honest.
I don't think he would be able to handle it, honestly.
No. I
We're
think we
far
would
enough
both.
on each end of the spectrum that we balance each other out well.
Yeah, it makes sense. Like I can understand where you're coming from. If you throw a third person in here that's kind of in the middle, I think both of us on the other end would be like, "Fuck this guy."
Yeah, this guy
what
sucks.
are we doing here?
You know what, Sven, you're fired. You didn't even
Yeah.
last one episode.
He's
You get to
Swedish,
say
I like him.
anything. Get out of my house. Anyway, back to business here. My favorite's when we have a conversation like that, and in the comments, people are like, "Oh my god, are you guys okay?" This is how we've communicated for 20 years.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get back to the episode. We'll dive in. We are at the dinner at the Sweat Lodge. Like you said, everyone's having their little kumbaya moment, things like that. I think it's hysterical that the one person that comments on the Sweat Lodge at the table is Craig, of all people, who was in there for 10 minutes. But I'm going to try not to pile on and just try to stay focused on what we're talking about each scene. He's like, we were on the same path for so long, and we kind of grew apart, went our own respective direction. I remember when you told me that you were dating Paige. I felt like you abandoned me. I was like, hey, what the hell? What about me? Valid, not fair to Craig for you to put that pressure on him just because he's moving on with a lady. So that was him taking some kind of ownership, but also telling Craig, like, hey, this is why I acted the way I did, especially early on in that whole thing. Craig's response is, I don't know, sometimes the thoughts in your head, you just assume people understand. I'm like, okay, this is constructive finally, but we've seen this before too, and I don't have a lot of hope. It feels flimsy.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely flimsy, and I think that they were going about it in different ways. What Austen was telling me is, and what he told us in his confessional, it is what it is. Like, I know where Craig is. I think we just need to really start over and just kind of build it back up. Like, it's never going to be the same friendship. And
Right.
he immediately discredits that. He discredits that immediately at Watch What Happens Live. But again, he was sitting right next to Craig when he was talking about it, because he's like, yeah, it's so easy to fall back in love with being a friend with Craig. It's like, okay, dude, you have to figure out where you're going with this. Else you're just going to be in the same goddamn boat every season. But when he's saying all this, I'm like, okay, Austin's actually taking a pragmatic approach to this. He's not getting mad. He's not insulting Craig, which is very important, which he's maybe finally learning. And he's just saying how he feels. And he's being pretty open about it. And he's allowing Craig to respond without jumping down his throat. No one else is doing it too, which is nice. Call it the Sweat Lodge, call it just people at the end of a Mexico trip. They're not really getting too far into it. And Shep's kind of butting out, letting Craig talk. But when Craig's coming at it, it's more of like we just have to learn to figure out how each other think. And we have to do this. Like, he doesn't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what he's thinking. but we need to figure out a way where we're not going to get in each other's path. Austen's like, we need to go back to square one and like, we'll see what we have. We might have a friendship, we might not. Craig's like, nah, we can repair this. But he's not really saying that. And that's pretty much what Craig always thinks is, yeah, Austen and I had a spat, but like, we'll always be good. And unfortunately, that's not the case. The truth is way closer to what Austen's thinking. Whether or not he's going to put that into practice, I have no idea. Probably not. But he's at least saying the words and thinking that. So it was kind of interesting that they let them go for that long without anybody interjecting and saying pretty much what I'm saying right now, where it's like, you guys do this all the time. Like, yeah, it's a nice conversation, I guess. We're getting back to a good place. We're still not talking about Craig screaming in Sally's face last night, which is probably a more pressing issue. But I guess this is a nicety. So we can kind of move on from this whole thing.
Yeah. And I think that the way that they both responded is also kind of indicative of the personalities where, Austen is more willing to kind of draw a line in the sand that he will very promptly step over. He doesn't stick to his boundaries, but he will make a boundary. And Craig proves once again that his perspective of things is very strange. It's like, I don't know what your experience has been or what you're seeing, but I think you can kind of blanket statement that. And when he has these big reactions, when he is like overly emotional about certain things, the aftermath, he's always acting like, whoa, what's the big deal? I really truly am starting to think that like he doesn't think that those moments are as bad as they are. That's certainly not an excuse.
Right.
But I don't know if he's just really good at like acting that way or if he genuinely is like, why are you guys freaking out about this? Like I had a bad night. It's not a big deal.
I do genuinely think that's how he thinks. I don't think he's deflecting. I think we've done this so many times where you would see the cracks in the armor if somebody was just trying to spin it and mansplain and gaslight and do all of those things. We'd be able to tell. We'd be able to look at this and be like, no, he knows he fucked up, but he's just trying to squirm his way out of it. Everybody does that. Like we've seen that across the whole platform in Bravo shows and reality TV across the board. Craig's an enigma. I mean, he is what he is. I genuinely think when he's saying that and when we finally do get to, hey, so last night was kind of fucked up, right? Like, I don't know why I would really talk about it. Like I just had a bad night. And Sally's like, you should have come over. And that's the other part of this with Sally is she's very quick to forgive. I actually concocted a very
far
funny
too
theory.
quick. I was like team Charlie here. I agree with Charlie.
Charlie's
100%.
like, what the fuck is going on? Like, why are you doing this? Especially when she's had a vendetta against Craig, especially when she's had a vendetta against Craig and Charlie. Like, no, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, we just had a whole powwow in the morning and probably the night before that we didn't really get to see where she was probably crying and upset and distraught that Craig did this. And now you're coming in with this energy where you're so quick to forgive. And her excuse is like, well, it's almost like I'm getting from her that Craig is scary, which I'm getting from the whole cast. Like Craig is so scary that maybe if I just bow down to him and just let him go and at least get him to say he's sorry, we don't have to acknowledge it anymore. And I don't have to worry about any repercussions. Like that's what I'm getting from Sally when she's going into it. But Craig absolutely does think that way, where he's like, look, I had a bad night. Everybody has bad nights. I don't really understand why you have to hold me to a higher regard. And he does that all the time. And we see even a clip of that in the reunion from next week where he's walking around. He's like, it's just a pile on Craig. And I'm like, dude, no, you have done a lot of things. You've done a lot of things you do need to answer for. And that's what reunions are for. And he just does that every single time.
I know. And that's where it gets extremely frustrating. That's what I was saying before. Like, it's not an excuse because you still did stupid shit and you still got to take accountability. But it does lend a little bit more evidence as to why he's so incapable of taking accountability. In his head, it's not as bad as you guys are saying. To which I would say, if enough people come to you with the same fucking issue, then you're probably the problem. There's a common denominator in here. We'll talk more about it later. Yeah. But they are able to have this nice moment at the table to at least end the trip on a good note. Again, I love that Charlie is across the table like, what the fuck are you doing? This is mind-boggling that you're buying this. How are you buying this apology? It's 100% because Sally still has feelings for Craig. I mean,
that was my concocted theory. I had a very funny theory, which would have been so awesome, is if now she realizes that Charlie and Craig are done, and we flash forward to like 3-4 days later after the Mexico trip, and now all of a sudden Sally's like, wow, I've got some decisions to make. I mean, I still have so many feelings for Craig, and now he's not dating Sally, but I really like Austen. It would be so funny if she flipped back to Craig. That would have been so incredible for what we watched Sally do all year. I would have awarded her with Bravo Celebrity of the Year right away.
Yeah, I mean, look, This episode doesn't do her any favors. I also think that she was somewhat set up, and I'll talk about that when we get there, but she doesn't do herself any favors by any means. Would I be surprised if we found out through Dumois or something that there is a new love triangle going on in Charleston between two ex-friends and a newbie on the cast? I'd be like, yeah, that's Sally, because Craig got lonely and he's in his hot tub and he texted her and she's back over there. I think,
Yeah.
like, unfortunately, I'm like 99% sure if Craig attempted to start something up, she would be game. And that's
Yeah,
a bummer.
especially with the ending scene, which was just a classic like end to a rom-com, which I just
It was so cute.
absolutely fucking loved.
It was
I don't
my
even care
favorite.
about I don't care about Austin and Sally together, but that scene at the end was just beautiful.
It was, right? I think you're wonderful. It's like, oh, guys,
Oh, you're gonna make me root for you.
this is so sweet. I'm going to ignore the fact that, she's been fawning over that other guy in the house and was crying because of him earlier. This makes total sense. And she seems totally normal and sane. I'm rooting for you. But
Yeah.
let's get to Charlie, who's FaceTiming her mom. And this whole FaceTime is pretty much just to let mom know, like, hey, Craig freaked out and I'm out on Craig. I don't know if mom is charmed by Craig or if she's saying, hey, go get your lick back. Don't let him talk to you like that. Like, this
Yeah.
seems like you need to have this conversation for yourself to kind of move past this, which I agree with mom on that front. Like, I don't think it's a good method, especially in a town like Charleston that's very small, to just avoid. Like, I think you should probably say something. You're also on the same cast, so it's an even smaller town. So
Well,
I
that's
get
there's evidence to the contrary of what we just said, where we genuinely think that Craig is like mentally in a weird spot where he does genuinely believe that he didn't do anything wrong. He kind of discredits that with his actions here, because when we're talking to Charlie and we talk to Craig a little bit later and how often they were talking, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, I haven't talked to her in a few days. He's got to know that he fucked up, right? Like, he's not
he
reaching out to
doesn't.
Charlie.
He doesn't. That's
He
my
does. He
point.
doesn't, but he does, and that's the thing. Where like what I've gathered from this, when Charlie's talking to her mom, and then we're talking to Craig later, is they both know, and obviously Charlie knows, but they both haven't been communicating nearly as much. Craig knows something's wrong. He might not know exactly what's wrong, but he knows something's wrong. So he at least
Something is wrong. Yes.
yeah, so he can go there, but he's not reaching out being like, "Wait, what, like, I don't understand what happens." Like, we talked every day, we were FaceTiming all the time, and now we're not talking every day. Like, he knows something's wrong. He knows that he did something to push Sally, or to push Charlie away rather. But I guess maybe he doesn't grasp exactly what it is. Like, is
He
that the
doesn't.
problem?
He doesn't. And it's so frustrating to watch, honestly, because it's like anybody watching that episode or sitting at that table can tell you exactly what happened. Like, it's no
Yeah.
mystery whatsoever. The rest of the group is not confused as to why you and Charlie aren't hanging out anymore. Like, it's pretty fucking clear. So I don't know if it's narcissism. I don't know if it's short-sightedness, a combination of the two. But I think that as we see throughout this episode, we've seen it throughout the season, we've seen it throughout Craig's time on TV, really. It's never his fault, right? And
Yeah.
even this stuff, and we get to it later when we're talking with at the party, like, it's never his fault. And I can't imagine what it's like to be friends with that and try to communicate with somebody that does that kind of shit. Like, at some point, like you just said, at some point, you got to realize, like, oh, I did something wrong. Let me go down that path. But when we watch him
Yeah.
talk to Corey, he's like, nothing happened. Absolutely nothing happened. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's like, what? You can't be that naive or that ignorant.
Yeah.
Like, that's just
Just
crazy.
bewildering.
You're a grown up. Like, act like one.
I would understand a little bit if when he's talking to Corey later, he's like, "Look, I mean, I just had like a really bad night, so maybe that's what it is." Like, and then I would genuinely believe that he's actually thinking that. But to not be able to put two and two together, extremely, extremely poor judgment. I don't understand how he doesn't get there. It's unfathomable that he doesn't get there.
Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, and I get this angle too. Charlie's just like, it's not really worth it. I've seen these conversations and how they go. I don't even want to open that door. And I think that's a big reason that we continue to see this behavior from Craig, is that people don't want to check him. I don't even know if it's that they're actually scared of him. I'm sure quite a few of them are. I think it's not even fear. It's more like, what's the fucking point? This guy, it's like talking and arguing with a brick wall. Like he's not going to give in. He's not going to budge. He takes a stance, and that's his stance forever. He can do no wrong. So I'm not going to
Yeah.
waste my time.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Charlie says at the end of the conversation to her mom too. It's like we're at a table with a bunch of people who just don't feel like it's necessary to check in because there's no point.
Right.
So I don't think I need to have that conversation. I would argue even further. You've only been dating him for a couple of weeks at this point. Like you guys smooched, you guys didn't do a whole lot more. It was a very contentious relationship. If you want to wash your hands clean of the whole situation, I'm not going to blame you. You shouldn't be the person that checks him. Everybody else on the cast that's been friends with him for years should have checked him multiple times and didn't. So he continues to get away with it because they're afraid of him or whatever. It's not really Charlie's responsibility to do that.
I agree. But let's keep trucking and get to the party, or get to leading up to the party. And
we got to talk about Madison and her baby.
Oh, right. I didn't want to. Did I skip them?
It's
No,
just
they
a
haven't
really
gone
nice
home yet, but I guess we could do that right now. Yeah, dude, it was so sweet, and you're damn right Brett looks hot as a dad. I get it.
does.
I get why you want to jump his bones, but it's just a sweet scene. It made me emotional, obviously, because I remember when I held my sisters for the first time, because I was like 11. It's very similar to like Hudson age-wise where I was when Riley was born. So I don't know. It's just like such a sweet scene. I love that little family of theirs.
Yeah, it was a nice little reprieve before we get to the big party. But before we do get to the big party, or rather the people getting ready for the big party, I got to talk to you guys real quick about Robody. And maybe you're thinking about starting that GLP-1 journey. Maybe you have friends or family that have already started. They're already feeling good. They've got more confidence. And you're thinking, maybe that's right for me. Because I know that if I needed GLP-1s, I would go right to Robody. Because the best thing about GLP-1s and the best thing about Robody is not only do they have the first FDA-approved GLP-1 weight loss pill, but Ro is also going to be there every step of the way with 100% online care, access to clinically proven FDA-approved medication, free insurance checks, side effect management, dosing support, and way more. And it takes so much off your plate. Maybe you're a little worried about it. Ro's got you every step of the way, so don't worry about it. Go to ro.co/brabros to see if you're eligible for the new GLP-1 pill on Ro. That's ro.co/brabros to get started on Ro. Go to ro.co/safety for boxed warning and full safety information about GLP-1 medications. Now we'll get back to Southern Charm.
So now let's get to the party, or travel to the party. And I think it's very important to note, once again, the dinner in Mexico. Okay? Craig and Sally specifically, Sally giving an inch right there so Craig could take a mile. That's important for my theory in a little bit. But before we do that, we have to watch Dumb and Dumber spray gold into their mouth. Why are we buying gold?
Why is Corey back?
This?
Yeah, what are we doing?
First of all, he looks like the friend in Wedding Singer, the one that wears the wacky outfits all the time.
Yeah.
And not in like an endearing, like, oh, wow, he dresses funky. It's like, oh, you thought you fucking nailed it tonight, dude. And you look like an idiot.
Yeah. I can't stand every time he's on the screen. I want to fast forward so bad. And I get like Craig has been on the show for a long time and Corey's gone through some Bravo shows. So they feel comfortable with him on the show. And Craig wants to have a friend on there. I don't fucking care. I just don't. He's such a dud. And he's not important. And I'm very happy that as soon as he showed up, he talks to Molly. And he tries again to flirt with Molly. And he's like, oh, yeah, you're going to make me breakfast in the morning? And she's like, no, I'm not making you breakfast in the morning. He's like, oh, don't pat me. Hey, don't pat me. Like, no, just go away, dude. No one wants to see you.
Is that flirting? Does that count as flirting? Oh, your tits and your ass are out. Nut.
For him, yeah.
Good
he's
game.
Still like 22 years old in his mind.
It's what I'm with you. I could do without him on the screen for the rest of my Bravo career. But I fucking loved that Charlie brought a dude with her. Tyler, we didn't get to meet Tyler, but he looked like a handsome fella. That's such a baller move. Like, oh yeah, I'll see you there. I'm actually gonna bring my friend Tyler with me. And she walks in with him. I was like, yeah, Tyler. Yeah, you don't know what you're getting into right now, but hell yeah, Tyler.
Yeah. Too funny.
Sally arrives next, and obviously she's fawning over Austen, as we've seen all season. And Miss Patricia asks for a sperm donor, in which Whitney gets elected somehow. So sorry, Sally. That's a bummer.
I thought we were done with the days of Miss Patricia pushing Whitney to have children. Like
she said they were.
Yeah, we don't want to do it anymore. We're done with this. Please
Yeah.
stop doing that. And also, don't have Whitney come up and say a few words about
No.
Carolina Day or whatever the hell it is. Like, no, we don't need that.
No, he could talk about why he's on the Epstein list, but not about Carolina Day.
Yeah.
I will mention it every episode.
Yeah, absolutely. Every time he comes up.
Yep. But the biggest news of this party is not Craig and Austen, not Sally and Austen, Sally and Craig, Charlie, Craig, Sally, Charlie. It's the fact that Shep walks in with a date.
Yeah.
An age-appropriate date, some might say. And the best part, my favorite part by far, is that he introduces her to everybody. He goes, she's 37.
He's so proud of himself. And look, I'm proud of him too. He had a great season. He was so like beyond tolerable. I'll even say it was
Likeable.
entertaining and fun and likable for Shep this year. This was great. This was incredible. And I love that he's talking. He was talking to Tyler, Rod's fiance, a little bit later. And Tyler's like, well, how's that going? Like, who's the date? What's going on with her? She's 37 years old. She wants kids. I told her I kind of want kids too. It's like, whoa, Shep, come on. Are you ready for kids? I might be. Who knows? Like, this is so much more enjoyable for Shep to do this.
If I would so much rather watch Shep attempt adult life, like this kind of stuff, versus like him try to still be a 20-year-old. This is way more fun. Like Shep with a kid, kind of want to see it. Sorry. Like I think
I would
would
transform the whole show. It absolutely would, because I think if he ends up being the first domino to fall and he gets married and has a kid, or even just has a kid, I think Craig and Austen would be like, whoa,
we got to speed up our timeline.
Yeah, Craig would immediately get engaged within like 2 weeks just to try to do it. Austen would
he'd go adopt a baby.
Yeah, he actually would. Yeah.
Yeah, big news. I actually just adopted a kid.
Yeah.
His name is Sohn.
Yeah. Sohn.
Get it?
Mm-hmm.
Sean, but Sohn.
Yeah, I hate that.
Because he sews.
Yeah, no, I get that part of it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't like that you used Sean for that one, but yeah.
It just came to the noggin. It's quick fire.
Yeah, that happens.
But anyway, let's start. Let me get into my theory real quick. And I don't even know if it's a theory. I think it's objective fact, but would like to know what you have to say about it. So Charlie's dodging Craig, which I love. Like, she's just kind of cold shouldering, like slinking by him, not saying hi to him, acting like she doesn't see him, which is even funnier. But Craig goes up to Sally, of all people. Hey, did you see that? Sally's like, see what? Maybe you just got to move on with your life, Craig. She was trying to get a little dig in there, trying to feel good about it. That's similar to what he said to her, more or less. Like, it's got to move forward. We can be friends, blah, blah, blah. Just got to move on with your life, Craig. And this fucking slimy, this was manipulative as shit, and I did not care for it, and I want your opinion on it when I'm done going. But he then divulges the intricacies of him and Charlie's relationship, the entirety of it, the hours of FaceTime in the morning, FaceTime before bed, family trip that Charlie is apparently going to go on. He goes down this whole list knowing that it's going to send her in a spiral. He is feeling some type of way about Charlie giving him the cold shoulder. So he enacts the Sally principle, taps her in to go and cause absolute fucking chaos. This was manipulative. It was planned. And I think it's slimy as shit. And that door was only opened, like I said, because of that half-assed apology in Mexico. But Sally still has feelings for Craig. So she accepted that. And instead of in this moment, Sally chalking this up to, I probably should have known there was more going on, or, I'm not in this thing anymore, because of her feelings for Craig. It goes exactly the way that Craig wanted to. And now, instead of Sally still having a vendetta against Craig, instead of Sally having a vendetta against Craig and Charlie, now Sally's just mad at Charlie.
Yeah.
And Craig's mad at Charlie.
Yeah, that's exactly how it played out. And look, maybe the basis is, I know based on where Sally is and who she is, that at least she's going to be on my side for this whole thing. You could say that could be the base for it. Fine. But everything thereafter is absolutely manipulative. Like, he knows exactly how it's going to go. Yep. He knows that Sally was left in the dark and she feels some type of way about that. So let me divulge the information that Charlie wasn't giving Sally, which is then going to piss Sally off because she feels like not only was she in the dark the whole time, but also my friend did this to me actively. And it's, again, crazy that Sally didn't think that they were doing things. It's crazy that Sally didn't even think that they kissed in the first place, but Craig knows that. Craig knows that Sally's completely in the dark, even more so that she doesn't have the common sense to be like, oh yeah, they're definitely talking a lot. They're definitely hanging out a lot. They've definitely kissed before. All of this is news to Sally, which is fucking hilarious. But Craig used that. He weaponized all of that because he feels like Charlie got rid of him and didn't give him a reason, and now he's pissed off about it. So yes, it could also be he wants people on his side. He wants people to like him, fine, whatever. But he still knows what he's doing at the end of the day. He knows what he's doing by divulging this information because it's going to create chaos and it's going to get back to Charlie. And then if Charlie comes to him, is like, hey, what did you say to Sally? Like, what happened? What are we doing here? He could be like, well, look, it's up to you. I mean, you left your friend in the dark for that long. I just told her what was going on. That's all he has to do. And he's somehow going to snake his way out of it again. So no matter what you think about what his intentions were in the beginning, when he does all of those things, it was manipulation.
Yep. Period. No notes. That's it. And like, I know we're going to hear from the Craig people. I know they're going to blindly follow and support this guy no matter what he does. You cannot convince me otherwise.
No, you can't deny the facts.
As we predicted, episode 3, whenever that love triangle started, we both said both of these women are going to get burned. Like, this is not going to end well, and you guys aren't going to be friends. Like, we saw the writing on the wall. I know our audience, being our amazing audience, you guys saw the writing on the wall. So now it's coming like crashing down. And as the ship is sinking, Craig found a lifeboat and he left Charlie and Sally on the boat, and he fucking went his own way while still convincing himself that he's done nothing wrong. Why is Charlie dodging me? What the hell happened? Charlie's dodging you because of how you talk to Sally, who you're now confiding in. What? That's the only sentence that's you need to read.
The only thing that I will point to is these options should not be available to him.
Oh, correct. Absolutely.
They should not be available to him. So they are at fault in some way. And
For sure.
Look, Charlie's only at fault because she did actively hide so many obvious things from Sally because she felt some type of way about it. If you feel some type of way about the guy that you're dating, you don't want to tell Sally because she had feelings for him. You probably did something wrong along the way. I don't think it was that big of a deal, but she did something wrong along the way where she felt bad and she felt like she needed to hide those things. Correct. So yeah, you're not exactly free of fault there. Sally did a lot of things wrong. Craig did a lot of things wrong. But these options should not be available to him.
Correct.
He should not be able to go confide in Sally. We should have seen a much different scene where after all of that happened, it could have been rinse and repeat, honestly, from Vanita all the way down to Charlie, the same conversation like, hey, I told you this was going to happen. That would have been really funny to have the three of them sitting in the corner of this party. Like, wow, I can't believe that happened. I mean,
let's all do
I
a
told
shot.
you told her, and then she still ended up getting burnt. So we're all kind of fucked. Let's give up on this guy. Let's leave him alone. And let's move on with our lives. Instead, he has these options and he goes right to Sally and it works. Like that, it just shouldn't work. And I'm sure, again, people are going to look and be like, well, you know, I mean, Craig did get burnt by her. Like, she didn't give him a reason. Just enough. And we already saw the clip from the reunion. They went on 2 dates. Charlie does not owe Craig anything. Craig's behavior was crazy down there. Anybody who is early on in dating is going to look at that and be like, ugh, yeah, I don't want to deal with that. Maybe I'll have a conversation at some time, but I don't owe him anything. Charlie's not in the wrong for that. So let's not do that song and dance.
Very well said. I agree. And to further your other point, yeah, no, Sally is still at fault for so many things this episode. Like, this is not an exoneration of Sally, just an exoneration of this moment. She did herself no favors, and she also showed her entire hand. Like, everything she was trying to do after the Craig thing fell apart. It's like, oh, you were just trying to put on this facade, but meanwhile, you still had all of the thoughts and feelings that you had in episode 3, 4, and 5. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. But we'll talk more about it later. Now, this is where we get Corey flirting, quote unquote, flirting with Molly. And then you get Craig, who tries to approach Charlie and Austen, who are standing there getting a drink, or they're standing there talking. So Craig goes over to them. As he approaches, Charlie dips and goes to get a drink from the bar, which, great move. It's just really funny. But now it's awkward because Molly's talking to Charlie, and Charlie's like, well, now I'm mad that he didn't come talk to me. Like, why am I the one that has to go to him? It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, let's just get this thing over with. Somebody go talk to somebody. And finally they connect. And Craig's like, yeah, you were dodging me. Well, let's go talk then. Now, before they talk, Rod checks in with Sally, and Sally does herself no favors as she starts going through this list of what Charlie and Craig have been doing. Rod and Molly are like, no shit. What did you expect?
Yeah.
They've been dating for like 3 months at this point, or at least talking for that long. And that's why I got bummed out that Sally had the reaction she did. And I'm not telling anybody how to feel, but just take a step back and like look at the situation. Like, of course they're doing this stuff. And there's also nothing that you didn't think was going to happen. Like, you knew where this was going to go if they continued to hang out and date. So the blind side, I cannot co-sign a blind side here. You should
No.
not have been blindsided
No.
by any means. And then to do this in front of the whole party, I'm like, oh no. Just stop talking, bro.
No, because it continues to just make it about Craig. Like, you can tell me until you're blue in the face that you're mad at Charlie for hiding things and not being open with you, but it's still about Craig. Like, I'm sorry, it is. You still have
Yep.
feelings for Craig at the end of the day. That's what this
Yep.
whole thing is about. If it was some random guy that you guys happened to meet in Charleston, maybe you had a chance with him and then Charlie ended up stealing him, I think you'd be over it by now. And if she was still being like secretive about what they were doing, yeah, you would have a conversation. Maybe you wouldn't be friends anymore if she's moving like that. Fine. I wouldn't care about that. But when you do it like this and you're actively avoiding the facts and not using your brain to say, oh, yeah, they're definitely hooking up. Oh, yeah, they're definitely talking all the time. And this is all like brand new news to you. And I don't even think she's acting. Like, she genuinely
No,
didn't
it's
think
real. That
about
was
that
real.
because she wouldn't allow herself to think about them in that capacity because she still has feelings for Craig. That's what it is. So that's why she's doing all of these things. I love Rod and Molly because they're just like, are you kidding me,
Yeah.
Sally? Like, really? We're gonna keep doing this. We're gonna act like they're not doing. Okay, whatever. I don't care. You're a lost cause. Go do whatever you want. You have to go have it out with Charlie right now. Go have it out with Charlie. I don't care.
That's the best way to put it. This is a lost cause. And nothing that we've said to you over the past month or two has landed. You're not actually trying to separate yourself from the situation.
Mhm.
You've done no actual work on moving past this whole thing. And it becomes very evident when you have this reaction to finding out that two people that are dating are doing things that two people dating do.
Yes,
Okay.
pretty much.
Well, Charlie and Craig, they're outside having a chit chat. And, Craig immediately is like, well, I was excited to see you all day. I haven't seen you since Mexico. Well, we haven't talked about what happened between you and Sally. Well, yeah, but you didn't come talk to me about it either. Can we fucking stop and just talk about, like, let's just talk.
Yeah,
I hate
know.
the runaround so much.
Yeah.
And here you go. You get the same defense that we've heard in other seasons. You can go back to the clips of Craig when he was like studying for the bar. Like, the clip of him saying everybody has a bad night or referencing a bad night has happened for a very long time. So he's doing that again. Look, everyone has bad nights, and this brutal. Sally got in my head. Fucking leave her out of it.
Yeah.
Okay? Leave her out of it, because that's not fair, especially in that moment. This is between you two now. It's between you and Charlie. You had a bad fucking moment. You've had multiple bad moments. That's the other thing when he says at the end of this, like, oh, this whole thing fell apart because of one bad night. No, this was the straw that broke the camel's back. She's seen this behavior from you in other situations that she was able to barely rationalize by saying, at least there was a reason for that one. That's a direct quote. At least there was a reason for those ones. This has been a culmination of your reactions and your anger over the course of your time together. This is not because of the last night in Mexico that went south. That was confirmation for Charlie to go, oh, fuck this. I'm not getting involved with this guy. He's nuts.
Yeah, it's more than just that too. I mean, I would say it's a very, very, very large straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
The relationship was built on lies. Like,
Yeah,
let's
true.
be super honest about this whole thing. It was never going to work. And if it did, it was going to be incredibly toxic at some point because of the way that you treated it, because of the way that Craig treated it. Craig got rid of Sally in a very weird way. He knew that she had feelings for him. He acted dumb. He
Made her
moved
buy
on and went to
chickens.
you because he liked you better. You hid everything from Sally. Like, the whole thing, the whole foundation was cracked to start off with. This was a very big moment where you, by the way, I fully support, if you're early on dating and you see somebody do that, walk away. You have you don't owe them anything. Just move on with your life. but let's not act like, oh yeah, like for both sides. Like Charlie can't sit there and be like, well, you did that, and that was the one and only time that I would ever let you do that, and that we're done. That's enough. And Craig on the other side, you can't be like, well, that was just a bad night. Like you should give me another chance. Like dude, enough. Like stop acting like the elephant isn't sitting in the room with us. You guys were never going to be able to move past the whole Sally thing. Every conversation you guys have, it's either Charlie keeping a secret from Sally or Craig bringing up Sally's feelings about the whole thing. You guys were never going to move past that. So why are we acting like it's not?
I don't know, but the way that Craig describes everything, I'm like, wow, you are
You're just out of
really,
touch.
yeah, yes, that's a great way to put it, out of touch, because they're going through the whole gambit again. We FaceTimed every night, we did this, and Charlie's like, yeah, but not since Mexico. It's almost like she's hitting him in the head with it. Like,
Yeah.
you didn't recognize that I went ghost after Mexico? What could have happened in Mexico to cause me to go ghost? Why are you playing like you don't understand where I'm coming from right now? And then we have to go to confessional. He's like, I let my guard down with Charlie, and this wasn't a rebound. It was, it's all erased in one bad night. It just sucks. It's like, fuck this, man. Like I hate it. Like it really drives me nuts. Like, oh, woe is me, Craig. You are the one that forced this weird situation to happen. Again, you're the common denominator. You're the one that had Sally and Charlie in your hot tub consecutive nights, consecutive weekends, giving mixed signals. You're the one that would have done something with Sally, but she didn't make a move, and you friend zoned her without telling her until she's literally buying chickens because you told her to. Now we get to this point, and you realize that you're at the end of the road with Charlie, so you pull out the big guns. How can I emotionally manipulate this situation to try to get one more chance? Paige, okay, I would have chosen you over my ex. I let out an audible Jesus Christ. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. We did not just go there.
He clarified too on Watch What Happens Live what he meant. It's a crazy, unbelievable
I can't wait
thing
to
say.
hear this one.
But his explanation on Watch What Happens Live was, at the time, I would have chosen Charlie over going back to Paige because he was still so hung up on Paige that we even said that in the beginning of the season. He told Austen and Shep, if Paige wanted me back, I would go back right away. So what he meant in that moment is if Paige came calling and I was dating you, I would pick you over her, which is a ludicrous thing to say in any capacity. I didn't need to hear it. Nobody needed to hear that. Charlie certainly didn't need to hear that. She just stops like right in her tracks. Like I think she was making some good headway there where she was really hammering home her point. And then Craig pulls that one out of his bag of tricks and she's like, what?
No, she goes,
like,
really?
Yeah.
I was like, wait, no, don't let this work.
It wasn't, I didn't, well, maybe it was, but I didn't take it as like a, oh my God, really? That's so sweet. Like, because it wasn't. That's not sweet. Like, let's be very honest. That is not sweet at all.
It's manipulative as shit.
It more of like a, wait, really? Like, what? Almost like a, what the fuck did you just say? Like, like, is that where you are? It's almost, it's complimentary for sure. And maybe in some level, Charlie was like, wow, that's a nice compliment. But I think it was more of like a really, like you were there. Like you had gotten that far along. I don't know. It could have gone
somewhere
either
in the
way.
middle then, because I see what you're saying, and that does track. But I did see her guard come down ever so slightly. It comes back, thank God. Like she didn't fall for it. But yeah, I can see where you're coming. So I think right in the middle of our two things.
Sort of, maybe Charlie and Sally aren't that different, honestly, because Sally
I think they might just operate differently, but they have similar like function.
Yeah, because when Sally's talking about the apology when they're still down in Mexico, she says it's just tough. Like he turns on that charm, and we're all like, dude, fuck off. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
He turns on that charm. He just screamed in your face. What are we doing here?
He was an inch away from your face, calling you a fucking loser.
And maybe that's what Charlie saw too, where it's like, yeah, I'm really trying to like break everything off and like show him where I'm at and just move on with my life. Basically, friend zone him. Maybe not even friend zone him. Maybe just move on with my life. And then he brings something like that up, and it's like, oh, that charm just came back in. Wait, really? Yeah, me? You think that about little old me? Are we doing this right now? Oh, stop it. You stop it. Are we still going on that trip with your family? Come on, let's go. I wouldn't have been I really wouldn't have been surprised if that actually did cause her to turn on a dime. And then we get to the reunion. It's like they have so much animosity towards each other. That would have been kind of funny. I would have been okay with that. But yeah, I took it more of like it let her guard down because she was so shocked that he said that.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's somewhere in the middle then. I can buy that.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
But she doesn't give in. She's like, I really just see us as friends now. She said that before the bomb that Craig tried to drop on her. But Craig then quotes Wolf of Wall Street. We're not gonna be friends. You and I, we're not gonna be friends.
Yeah.
Just friends. Cheers. Say it back. Yeah. Yeah.
I think that
Keep
was the last
door
ditch
open.
effort.
It was. That's all it was. And whatever, dude. Whatever. Let's go back to Shep and his 37-year-old because this is the child line, and I have to highlight this line. I know we talked about it already, but again, guys, Shep is considering children because I really honestly think like he's such an impulsive person and so like live in the moment kind of guy. I honestly think that just because he's with her in this moment, he genuinely is like, I want kids. I want to marry this woman. I want to be an adult. And the second that he gets to the bar after this party with Austen and Whitney, he's going to go up to some 23-year-old and be like, Shep Rose, what's up?
Yeah, absolutely. And look, that's growth in a weird Shep way. I'm okay
Yeah,
with that
I'll
because we
take
haven't
it.
seen that side. We haven't seen the side, and we've actually seen it a couple times this season. I think early in the season, he went over to his cousin's house and he was hanging out with
Yeah.
the kids. And he
Yeah.
was
And they
talking
talked about
about
it
having
there.
kids because when he was talking about buying the new house, he's like, yeah, it's got a couple of bedrooms. It's a little bit nicer. I'm living like an adult and like maybe I'm thinking about like getting married and having kids. And even what's his cousin's name? Marnie, I think. Marnie was like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
what are you sure about this? Are we doing this? He's like, yeah, maybe. And he talked to a lot of people about it. And maybe that's just the way that Shep operates. He's throwing it out there to see what people say. And people aren't like completely turned off by the idea of him growing up and getting,
I don't think they
married
take
and
him
having kids.
seriously about
They don't
it.
take it seriously. They want to see more from him. But I think watching him on this show for years, that's a lot for Shep to get to that point. It's a lot for Shep to show up with a 37-year-old date. That's insane to me too. He might be maturing. He might be growing up right in front of our eyes. This would be an all-timer.
It was bound to happen at some point, you would think and hope at least. So I don't
Yeah.
know. And like again, do I think that he's like fixed? No,
No,
but
no.
it's a step. It will take a
Yeah,
step, and we like to give credit where credit's due. So and as you've already said, like flowers for Shep. He had a great season. He
he
really
did.
did. He didn't do anything like overly Shep like. He was pretty solid. So I want to give him credit for that. But we got to get to Sally and Charlie and this sucks because again, now you two are doing this, and Craig's over there not catching any fucking heat.
Yeah.
But Sally comes up to her. I'm so upset with you, Charlie. I'm a lot upset. Craig told me that y'all were in a relationship, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, maybe I don't want anybody to know about it. And then Leva is going to drop some wisdom. Yeah, well, if your best friend was interested, then she deserves to know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree, Leva. Well said. You've been here. This is what she does. She comes in for like 2 seconds, drops a line, and then she bounces.
She shows up at the very end. Like,
Yep.
Fine. Good.
Yeah.
Good job, Leva.
Yep. You at least get to drop that line in there. But man, and I don't know if it's because she's been hanging out with Craig too long, but like the way that she starts out, I'm like, oh, don't do this. Like, just own this, please. Cause she's like, well, if I thought that she was seriously still interested in Craig, I wouldn't have gone to the oyster date.
Come on,
Charlie.
really? You
Like,
knew.
come on,
It's
dude.
it's just so funny. And like a lot of things I feel like on these shows need like an analysis. It just doesn't need an analysis. Like,
No.
really, come on. You know what you're doing. You've known what you were doing the entire time. You knew before you even had interest in Craig. And when we get like the whole the package, if you will, of Charlie and Craig hanging out, this is it's funny because they inserted like Sally's realization that they were doing this the whole time. It's like,
Yeah,
come on.
I know.
Really, like the first day they hung out, she was already throwing it at him. Like, oh yeah, you want to teach me how to swim? Oh, I'll swim with you anywhere, Craigie. Like, come on, we're not doing this right now. Really? Like, these are just two people who are unbelievably either oblivious or delusional. And I don't know which it is. And I don't really care which it is because I just don't have the energy to try to figure out where they're going with it.
No, but the fact that she's trying to take the route of like, I would never if I'd known. I'm too good of a friend for that. It's like, nah, dude, you burnt your friend.
Yeah.
Every clip that we got of Sally during that montage was Sally crying or yelling or getting mad about the situation. So this doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense. You knew I had feelings. So we're basing this all off of what we've seen, right? We watched this occur. So this is a ludicrous way to go about things. Unbeknownst to us, there's more. There was a text message that literally says, ugh, I really wish I didn't have feelings for Craig. This sucks. Charlie, stop. Like, just get down on your knees and apologize right now. I'm so sorry. Please be friends with me
Save the
again.
friendship. Like, and
Yeah.
this is the thing too. Like, if you genuinely are done with Craig and you don't want to do it, but you don't quite trust yourself because you already did let that door back open when he said he would pick you over Paige, you have to be friends with Sally, because if the two of you are friends again, it will push both of you away from Craig. Like, he'll
Yes.
realize, ah, shit, I don't have a way in there anymore. You, again, if you don't trust yourself, because you might go back to him at some point or you might have a slip up, just go be friends with Sally, because
Hang out
both
with
of you can
Sally.
just shit talk him the whole time and you'll be good and you can move on and maybe go into another love triangle further down the road.
The good thing is when Sally brings up that text, Charlie then drops the facade. She's like, you know what?
Yeah.
I was completely selfish. 100% ownership. For me, it's slightly too little too late. But at the same time,
We'll
after she
take whatever we can get.
apologizes, yes. And she's like, I knew how you were feeling. I disregarded it. I'm incredibly sorry. There's no excuse. I don't know where we go from here. Thank you. You should have said that in the house. You should have said that a month ago, but whatever, we got there. My biggest issue with everything is I'm sitting there watching going, guys, some fucked up stuff happened. And Sally, you have a right to be upset. I get it. Don't let Craig do this to you. Don't let
Mhm.
this fucking guy throw a wrench into your friendship like multiple people said was going to happen. You get a lot of I told you so moments from people that want it in the house. They don't do it. At least we didn't see it. Chalk it up to this was fucking dumb. I was an asshole. I'm sorry. And move on and be best friends. For the love of
Yeah,
God. The best fuck you to Craig would be you two being best friends again and not talking to him. And don't let
absolutely.
this dirtbag ruin your friendship. We don't want that.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, I guess we got to do it again. Austen and Craig, one more time for now.
For the regular season, yeah.
Yeah, for the regular season. So Austen goes up to Craig. Hey, man, let's get a beer. Hell yeah, brother. High five. All right, let's get into this conversation. Things have been better between you two. You've had your hands full tonight. Craigie, what's going on, man? Well, Charlie hit me with the friend zone, and I told her, oh, we're not going to be friends, so I'm just moving on with my life. Fine. Okay. Whatever. But then, damn it, Sally was upset that she didn't know about the whole friendship. Okay, we're still okay. But Sally made it so difficult for us to have a chance. God damn it. No, that wasn't it. You, you fucking guy. She's not the reason. That's not
Yeah.
the reason. It's part of the reason, but not even because Sally was interjecting. Because of you. Because you led her on. Because this love triangle started in your hot tub, dude. You, not
Yeah.
Sally, not Charlie, fucking you.
I love this because you go back to the beginning of the episode where I said that they are thinking way different things. Austin's like, I'm going to go very cautiously. I'm going to act like he's just a normal friend, very surface level, keep it
Yes, that was
chill,
supposed to be like, let's have
whatever.
a beer and talk about sports.
Literally, let's go have a beer and talk about Shep bringing an age appropriate date to the party. Let's have some fun. I'm going to ask you, yeah, it looks like you have your hands full. Give me a surface level response. I don't want to get into it because once you start telling me your reasoning for doing things, I'm going to get really pissed off. That's what it was. Craig,
Yeah.
on the other end, is, oh, me and Austin are cool again.
We're
I can
best
tell him
friends again.
everything that's going on. He's not going to call me out on my shit. Every single time, if you go back the last 2-3 seasons, pretty much honestly, since the end of him and Paige's relationship, every time Craig starts doing Craig things and talking to Austin the way that he does, Austin calls him out. Austin gets furious. He gets so frustrated so fast. And I know there's going to be a lot of people online that are like, well, I mean, Austin should have given him a chance to get through it. Like maybe he would understand what he's talking about. Craig just went through a lot of weird shit. It's like, let him get it off his chest and talk about it. That's what friends do. No, It's just not. And Austen has shown us otherwise. Every time we get into a situation like this and Craig goes down that path where he's playing the victim and woe is me, Austen calls him out on his shit. Further that, Austen gets really frustrated and very annoyed right away and will call him out on his shit. And that's what happens. Like, this thing blew up so quickly. It took 3 sentences from Craig for Austen to be like, dude, are you fucking doing this again? Like, you just don't take responsibility for the things that you're doing. And it's ludicrous. Like, I just can't sit around and listen to this anymore. So that shows you where Austen was. Austen's like, I'm going to slowly work into this, see how it goes. Craig's like, all right, yeah, I'm going to do the same shit as I always do. And Austen's just going to accept me for who I am. He hasn't. He just hasn't accepted you for who you are for the last 4 or 5 years. Like, what are we doing?
Because that's not what you're supposed to do. To a certain extent, yeah, I understand. Like when people are who they are, I get that. You're not going to be into spiritual shit. Will I poke you and prod you about it sometimes? Yeah. Do I actually expect you to like dive in? No. Fuck no. I think you'll come to the sweat lodge with me. That's about it. I'll take it.
You don't know what kind of rocks I have over here, buddy.
That'd be the funniest thing I could ever find out about you. If it's like you're a closet, like spiritual gangster or whatever. Like if you're just like hiding rocks in your closet,
astrology TikTok where I wear a mask so nobody knows who I am.
that would be the best reveal I could ever have. But I get that old moniker. Like, yes, to a certain extent, you have to accept people for who they are. Not the bad parts. Like you expect in a friendship to call your friend out, like not even in a bad way, but hey, man, like this kind of sucks when you do this. Like you should probably look into that a little bit. And you expect and hope for some growth. It's similar to a relationship. No, you're not going to change the person, but you do hope you improve on some things. That's okay. But no, it's completely 180 degrees back to who he was, but he's never changed. I think that is also really frustrating for Austen because he was at least able to admit, like, hey, man, like this started to feel weird just because of Paige. And I'll admit that. Like that was the driving force in the beginning. But what we've seen since then is your inability to take accountability. And that's really, really hard to stomach when I watch you do it with so many other people. Because Craig's saying things like, the Sally made it so difficult line. Then he's like, I hate and I work on being reactive. So he's aware enough to know that he reacts, but it's in response to people doing really fucked up shit to me. No, you lost everybody when you said that, except for your weird stands that think you can do no wrong. They blame Austen for everything. It doesn't make any sense that you can sit there in one breath and say, I'm working on this, I'm working on that, when people bring things to you that they think you should be working on. Anger, reactivity, how you treat people. You never believe them. You don't listen to them. The people that know you the best are your close friends. If they're telling you constantly, this is a fucking problem, it's probably a fucking problem, but not him. Nope. Holier than thou. Reunion, we get the same shit. Oh, it's pile on Craig.
The one thing I am thankful for, again, and look, I understand it probably does suck if you genuinely believe that you're going through it and no one's there. He just leaves. Like Austen goes down this path. He knows, and I do genuinely think the rest of the cast knows, and that's usually what we see by the end of the season, which is why it usually is a pile on Craig at the reunion. But everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows, and they're not going to come to his defense. They're not going to step in between him and Austen and try to break it up or anything. They know what's going to happen, and Craig just gets up and leaves. He's like, you know what? I'm not doing this. If I can't even talk to you, I think he left Corey there. I think Corey's actually still there because Craig gets up and leaves.
He's saying more pickup
Corey lives
lines.
there now. Yeah, he lives there now.
He probably squats in Whitney's basement with JP.
It's just, and it's much better too. Like I know that we talk about Austen and Craig constantly, but Austen's able to have this whole thing out with Craig after Craig goes down that road, and then he moves on, and then he goes and finds his friends, and he's like, you know what, guys, let's hang out. We want to go to the bar, grab a drink after this, absolutely, and we're good. Like Craig leaves, and Austen goes on to his friends. Like he's not distraught. He doesn't go home. We've seen that before. Like he's changing a little bit where it's more like, I expect this behavior from Craig.
Right.
Still calls him out for it. It's not going to land. It is whatever it is. And I'm going to move on and go over to Shep and Whitney, and we're going to go out to the bar tonight. Like, cool. I like that. I like that way better than a full knockdown drag out. Like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we end the season with the two of them just completely at odds, and there's no resolution because it's just a much better feel to this. But we don't move on to the end of the season before we get one last little rom-com between Sally and Austen. I fully respect Austen for doing this, where he's like, look, in so many words, he's saying, yeah, Mexico was really fun. I just got out of a relationship. You threw it on hot and heavy. I don't really know what I want. I got to figure some shit out. I don't want to get too much into you and figure out what's going on here and jump into a relationship with you or anything. Let's just leave it as it is. I really appreciate you as a person. Sally's just going to keep going, though. She's like, he's afraid because he
I
knows that
respect
this
it,
could be the
kinda.
real thing. I respect it too because she speaks her mind. And that is genuinely what she thinks. Like she's been, even when Austen was with Audrey, which we absolutely clowned her for, she knew that she wanted Austen. She was just playing with Craig until Austen was available. And now Austen's available. And she's not doing too much. She's not overly going after him or doing anything. But no, I meant like she's not like berating him rather for not choosing her. She could have. She
yeah.
easily could have been like, what the fuck? What do you mean? Like she's not pulling out the then
I
what was
thought you
Mexico
meant during
then?
the season. I was like, what are you
Oh,
talking
no,
about?
no.
She did
during the season,
everything.
was-
She did the most.
No, absolutely. But she wasn't like, he's getting ready to get into the Uber with the boys. Like he's heading out to the bar. He still extended her the invite at the end. Of course she's going to come. She's like, hey, let me put my champagne flute away before I get in here. But the music and everything in this scene, it was just very funny. It was very lighthearted. There wasn't a lot of heavy bullshit, which we're used to on the show. And I really enjoyed the end of it.
Yeah, him holding on to the cast iron fence, just like,
Yeah.
you look wonderful. Oh man. But I don't know. And like we do know they're still hanging out. Like there's pictures on Instagram. Like there's stuff still going on with them. I don't know if they're dating. I don't know if
He
it's still
talked
like
about it at Watch What Happens Live. He said, because Andy's obviously we get like
I saw
quasi,
Sally
like,
talk
where
about
they
it.
are
She was
now.
like leaning heavy into it, but I was like, I don't know if that's like the full story.
Yeah, take that with a grain of salt. It's probably somewhere in the middle, but Austin's response to Andy was that they are hanging out a lot. He really likes her, that she's like one of his top friends. Absolutely. They're not making out anymore. He's still figuring out what's going on, but they're enjoying being around each other. So he was a little vague, but it wasn't as much as what Sally was saying, which leads me to believe they probably have a couple of drunken nights where they hook up. And that's probably the end of it for now.
Friends with Benny's for the time being
Yeah.
is kind of where I landed with the whole thing.
Friends with Benny's, hoping for more on Sally's end.
Yeah, and they weirdly make sense to me, honestly. Like I think that type of personality that Sally has actually would be great in a relationship with Austen because she's attentive. Like she just wants to be around him. She props him up and says all these nice things. Austen likes when people say nice things to him. So I do think that they weirdly do make sense. I also think it's hysterical. And I would be remiss to not point out one more time, as I did so many times during the season, Sally, you just literally got done crying over Craig in that situation. Her ability to compartmentalize, we've talked about this before, to just lock something away and then walk out onto the porch and profess your love to a different guy.
Yeah.
That's fucking funny. Like it's just the way that she's able to do that is it's one more Sally moment before the season ends. And just wow, you can, and I know that there's mixed feelings about Sally. We read it in the comments. You can't say that she didn't bring it this season. My God, phenomenal work. She did look wonderful. So,
yeah.
Let's get to some questions.
This one made me laugh. First up here from David Patrick Hines. If I say Craig into the mirror 3 times, will he come and gaslight the shit out of me? Yeah, probably.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Oh, God. From Ken's Young, who's less self-aware, Sally or Craig? I think it's a tie. Oh man,
no.
It's tough. It's a lot closer than you would think.
Yeah, it definitely
Probably
is.
still Craig.
It's
Craig's been doing it for longer.
Yeah, there you go.
From Lorraine Promo, is Sally producing herself? She backtracks in podcasts. Castmates dispute what she says. No, I actually do think that she's just Delulu.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think she knows what she thinks until she's in the moment and then she says what feels right. I don't think that it's performative. I really don't think she has that in her. I think it's just like what you see is what you get. Like I'm just going to say some shit right now and I'll probably contradict myself, but that's what I feel right now. So I'm just going to say that now.
Yeah, fair. I love this one from Megan Yahala 18. I just ended this episode. I think they're all really dumb.
Yes.
That's fantastic. I love that.
Yeah. From Melanie Leah J. Will anyone ever stand up to Craig significantly?
I don't think so.
Probably
I
not.
mean,
And again,
Austin, no more than what Austin's been doing and what he did in this episode.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
Whitner next season could, like, because he hasn't been around.
Possibly. Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't know. From JB the Hut 713, with y'all's Craig take on, or what's y'all's Craig take on, or should he come back? Who does he even hang with off camera? I called my shot last week. I said I think he has one season left. I think that's pretty much it. I would
I
not
think
be surprised.
Same. I wouldn't be surprised if he does not come back. Honestly,
Yeah.
I don't know if his ego could take the hit. Genuinely, like that might push him to do the show one more
Yeah.
season, and then that might give merit to what you're saying. One more season. I think pride might get him to do one more, and then during that, he's gonna be like, "This is why I didn't want to fucking do it. This is my last season.
Correct.
I'm fucking done." Yeah. Jamie Gibbs, twofer. So what are we missing about Whitner being crazy again? And did y'all also burst out laughing when Craig said he'd pick Charlie over Paige? Yes.
I did laugh at that.
I said
The
Jesus
Whitner thing,
Christ.
the Whitner thing is still very interesting. I actually saw something about, and this is kind of goes into whoever was asking about Sally backtracking in comments and podcasts. Sally had said, and we'd seen like a very weird response from Whitner for a long time. Sally sort of doubled down, but sort of backtracked where she was like, what I said on Watch What Happens Live was, we don't really know who he is, but the way that she said it was definitely shady. I forget whose podcast she was on. Not Skinny, Not Fat with Amanda. She was talking about this and she was like, yeah, I said that, but like, you know, we really don't know him. And then furthermore, she said like, he just says some things. There's a little bit of entitlement there. And I'm like, all right, I don't think there's really anything here. I think everybody's been reading into this for too long.
I agree. Yes, it's time to move on after the reunion. But
yeah. From Morgie Hep, will Sally do any self-reflecting at the reunion after watching herself be a weirdo all season? I don't think so. I think she's gonna. I think what we're gonna get at the reunion is what we've been getting on podcasts. Like, I don't think there's gonna be anything different.
I don't either. I think it's going to be Delulu in the best way possible, and also irritating at times. She's good at doing that. Do a couple more.
From Ashley Krolchek, Team Sally or Team Charlie, especially with the teams making Charlie a villain.
Team Sally and Charlie friends, whatever that is.
Yeah, let's somewhere in the middle. I can't pick a side on that one. No way.
I don't want to pick a side. I don't want them to end a friendship over a dude that was going to burn them both anyway. That's like the root of it. Like, don't let this man fuck your friendship up, for the love of God.
Yeah.
Do one more if you find a good one.
Oh, this is interesting. From Amanda, Rocky's mom. Did you guys hear and then your thoughts on Charlie potentially dating Justin from Soho? We do not know Justin enough. We've only seen the first episode with Justin, so I don't know. I mean, we know Charleston. It's a weird cesspool for everybody dates everybody, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me neither. That makes sense to me.
Did Sally go after him first is my question.
Yes, they actually hooked up.
That's what I said earlier. I was like, hey, go right into your next love triangle because it's going to happen again.
Yeah, why not? But we should at least get one solid reunion episode, I would imagine, from this. There's a lot of emotion going into this whole thing. I don't think we're going to get 3 bangers, but I think maybe one's going to hit pretty well. And we'll see. We'll see how they wrap things up and what the next season outlook looks like. I do firmly believe that we'll be left on a quote unquote cliffhanger from Craig where it's like, I'm not coming back. And then they're going to end it right there. But
yeah,
we shall see. But that's all I got. You got anything else?
Nope. All good here.
Well, that's our Brav Bros. Got to get out of here now.